Okay, let me tell you people something. Let me get real with you for just a second. Aren't here all by myself of the world. Oh crap! Smoking out, smoking out, smoking out. Uh-oh. That's not good. Hello everybody, as you can maybe see behind me, we're at my house, not at the farm, and I have my work cut out for me. While in quarantine, I was gonna have somebody come lay all this sod you see behind me, but while in quarantine I thought, you know what, I can't do anything else. Why pay somebody $300 to come do that when I can do it myself? So that's what we're doing today. So I debated about even making a video over this because I'm like, who wants to see me lay grass? But then I went and rented a piece of equipment that I used to use. By the way, I worked in the sod industry for a couple of years. Being where I'm from in Bixby, Oklahoma, it's considered the sod capital of the world. The biggest sod company, the largest sod company in the U.S. is located right here in Bixby, America. And there are several other sod farms as well. Green Acres is who I'm referring to. I actually live right through those trees is one of the owners. And right that way is about a half a mile is the other owner of Green Acres. So I went to high school with the son of Green Acres, so we know them well. But I used to work in the sod industry for a couple of years, part-time for some, full-time for somebody else, part-time for myself. I have laid hundreds of pallets of grass, but I also have not done that since right out of high school, actually. It was a great college job, great side money, but obviously have moved on to better things. I don't know about better for my health. There's a lot of guys that are in the sod industry that do fantastic, so I wouldn't say better to demean any of that. I would just say better as then my back loves me for it. My back is not going to love me tomorrow because we're getting ready to lay 3,000 feet of fescue that is wet and heavy. The field was flooded. They finally got in and was able to cut it. Were able to cut it. And that's what we have here. So we've got some premier fescue behind us. It's funny, you know, just to reiterate on the sod capital of the world. The mayor of our town owns the second probably biggest sod company in town, and that's who I bought this sod from. So what you're gonna see me do today in a time lapse is lay this grass. I used to be able to lay grass probably by myself. I would say, I was thinking about this earlier, and I don't know that I ever timed it, but I would say I could probably lay a pallet of grass in 15 to 20 minutes. There's definitely some technique to it, and you think to yourself, what in the world technique to it? Well, to be good at laying grass, you don't really ever use your hands once you pick it up off the pallet and throw it on the ground. You need to be able to throw it where you want it, and then you use your feet to manipulate the rest. So I'm sure I'm gonna have some breaking in period to do that. So 15 to 20 minutes per pallet, probably back in my heyday, which means I ought to be able to lay all this grass in about 2 hours. I don't think that's gonna happen today. I'm gonna do it all myself. Marmy and Pappy aren't here all by myself. So, no Marmy and Pappy, no Jay's here to help me, just me getting after it. But I used to install this stuff, and whenever we would do an install, we would use this machine right here, especially kind of like a, I don't know what you would call it, like a remodel install where there's like existing grass and you're kind of going in trying to save it. But I overseeded this spring and it just did not do well at all. Spring is not the ideal time to overseed fescue. Fall is, but I missed out on that opportunity this year just being busy and stuff. So I tried it this spring and it's just, well, you can see, crappy. So we're going to ixnay that idea. I got a great deal on this from my buddy, and so we decided to lay sod. And I decided to do it myself because we're in quarantine and it is what it is. So I'm going to get after it, but first I want to show you this tool I rented and really kind of why I decided to do the video, because other than that it's just laying sod and who gives a crap about that. As you can see, this is freshly tilled ground behind me, but it's only tilled probably maybe a ½ inch into the soil. What it's called is a power rake, and what it's doing is it's got tines underneath this metal box that are just spinning at a high rate of speed, and they just cut into the ground a little bit just to fluff up the soil, fluff it up a little bit, make it loose. Obviously that's fluff, but in my application I'm not so worried about that. I'm not going to do the whole thing. This fescue will take root over the top of this stuff, no problem. What I'm doing it for is so that I can then come in here with my rake and I can peel my hand rake, not power rake, and I can peel this dirt back so that whenever I put this sod down, what people don't realize is there's a ½ inch of dirt on there. Well, once I peel all this back, this fescue is going to sit further down into the ground and kind of match up with, sorry about that, and it's going to sit down better with my Bermuda once my Bermuda kicks off, and so it doesn't look like it's just sitting, you know, up on the ground with everything else. It's going to look like it was here for a while. It's going to look good. We're getting ready to try to sell our house, which is really my main motivation for doing this. So we're going to get after it with that. But first, I started to talk to you about the power rake. Let's go look at the power rake real quick. So here's the power rake. It's a pretty simple machine. It's heavy steel. It's a box that nothing can get you, nothing can get your feet or anything. What I've done it here for is I've got some runoff right here, and I'm going to try to fill that in a little bit. So I've gone on either side of the runoff, and I'll take my rake and I'll bring that soil into that runoff area to make it not so prominent. And I'm getting ready to put the camera down on top of that pallet of grass and let you see me run this thing up and down the hill here. Of course it does better coming back up the hill because the tines are spinning to help grab you come down, but you got to do both. So I'm going to do that for you real quick. It's just a simple Honda motor on top. This is your engagement of the tines that are underneath it. You can set your depth right here, and right now I've got it set all the way down, and you can see the shaft sticking out the side down here. That shaft is what's going all the way through that all these tines are sitting on. Over here you've got the pulley to move the shaft coming off of the motor. So let me see if I can raise this thing up real quick and show you the underneath side. Okay, so there you have it. There's that shaft I was talking about, and here's all these tines that are just separated by these simple plastic gaskets. Pretty simple thing, pretty simple design. Just steel blades going through there. But they are effective. Back whenever I was doing installs all the time, I had one of these pretty much on every single job. So anyways, that's enough talking about sod because it's not interesting. I should have had the camera rolling the whole time I was doing this, but I'm gonna finish doing some spots right here so you can see how effective it is now instead of before. All you see is the aftermath. Now you're gonna see the actual destruction. All right, here we go. That thing's not liking being up like that, so let's get after it. Oh crap, smoking out, smoking out, smoking out. Uh-oh. That's not good. Okay, all better now. Let's get after it. Okay, well, as you can see, this is the fresh stuff right here and right back up here. So this thing does an amazing job. Sorry about that. This thing does an amazing job, but we're gonna get it back now. That's all I really need to do with it. I could go over this whole thing, but I don't have time. So I gotta lay some grass. So here we go. I'm gonna lay the grass down right now. Here we go. Okay, I got a little sidetracked. It's been a couple hours since you saw me do the dirt work. Well, I guess I have a little bit more dirt work to do. Then I'll come back to you and we'll start the clock. Okay, it is now 2:40. Like I said earlier, back in the olden days, this would take 2 hours to lay. We're gonna see how long it takes now. So here we go. Okay, let me tell you people something. Let me get real with you for just a second. That was 3.5 hours. That's somewhere over probably like 35 minutes a pallet. I was on really good pace. The first pallet was 21 minutes. The second pallet was 25 minutes. It went downhill from there. From pallet 1, it went downhill. So I used to do this daily. Daily, 3,000 feet. That was really no big deal. I am dying right now. Dying. I'm hurting real bad. But it's done. My wife helped me, which was fantastic. I know I said I was going to do it all by myself. She ended up insisting on helping, and she did a lot of the rolling out. I carried every single piece and threw it in its place and got it started, and then she rolled it out, and the girls even helped out some. Right, Pips?
All right.
Pips, did you help out quite a bit?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was 6 pallets, 3,000 feet. As you can see, it looks incredible. Did a little angle here where we don't get much sun from this giant tree. Still going, still going. So threw a nice little angle on it, but it just looks like $1,000,000 now. And once the Bermuda greens up, it'll be fantastical. So I don't know if you found me dying rolling out 3,000 feet of sod was interesting or not, but I work out 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, every single day, and I have for 2 years. We run, we lift, we do endurance training, we do sprint stuff, and I can tell you that took 3.5 hours and absolutely kicked my butt. That was the wettest sod I have ever carried. Well, it's been 10 years since I've even laid sod, maybe longer. So I can't really say that, but it felt like the heaviest sod I've ever felt in my life, lifted in my life. The sod truck got stuck in the field because it was so wet the day they cut this to try to get, when they loaded the truck up, they had to come pull it out with a tractor because it was so wet. This stuff was saturated. Heavy, 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 dense fescue. And it just kicked my butt. And then I've lost my touch in being able to spot pallets. The delivery driver spotted those pallets for me, or he put them where I told him to, and they were kind of in the way. I should have done a better job of that, but it is what it is. Just made for more cutting in. But that's it. I'm dying. I gotta go take a shower. I am just filthy. And that's gonna be it for this video. What? You gonna show them your scooter skills? Hey, do you want to tell them bye?
Bye-bye.
No,
Bye-bye.
that's not how we say it.
We'll see you next time up on the ridge. We'll see you next time up on the ridge.